Hey, welcome back to Rehab Chronicles. As promised, this is part 2 of Naked Mind Day 11. We're on ACT, Awareness, Clarity, and Turnaround number 5 for alcohol and happiness. And I try not to read verbatim, but I underlined a lot in this chapter because it's just so important. So, step 1, awareness. For many of us, alcohol has been central to so many meaningful and fun events in our lives, such as holidays, birthdays, weddings, celebrations of all kind practically require alcohol in some form or another. It's no wonder we feel like alcohol makes us happy. It seems like it's always there when we're having fun. Let's name this belief. Alcohol makes me happy. And remember, awareness means awareness of or deeply ingrained beliefs so that we can challenge them with clarity and turn them around. So alcohol makes me happy being our belief. Clarity. Where did this belief come from? We get it from TV, movies, from seeing people smiling and joking and being jovial all around us when they're drinking. When we drink, we think we feel happier because our filters are removed. Isn't it interesting that every time we've been in a fun social setting, there was alcohol involved? These experiences cemented your belief, and alcohol became deeply intertwined with happiness. We think we're funnier and the life of the party. But is this true? Does alcohol really make you happy? Let's start by defining what happiness means to you. Does it mean something fleeting and temporary? Or is it something more? Take some time to really think deeply about this. Write down or journal the description of happiness for you specifically. Then ask yourself, did you always need alcohol to be happy? When you were a kid, did you need a six-pack before every Little League game? I don't know about you, but I probably would have enjoyed sports a little bit more back then. I'm just kidding. Or did you and your girlfriends play hopscotch with real scotch? The average 4-year-old laughs hundreds of times a day, no alcohol required. Remember those friendships and activities that brought you joy. Now let's talk about how much time you actually spend drinking. Annie Grace writes that she would get off work around 6 p.m. and probably drink until 10 or 11. Then she'd go to bed. She remembers feeling relieved for the first half hour of the evening. But she doesn't remember feeling overly happy and joyous for the other 4 hours. She does remember waking up in the middle of the night, fretting over what she'd done, worrying she had said something that she might not remember or might regret. She can say that the few hours of drinking offered, can I say that the few hours of drinking offered enough happiness to overcome the dread and keep me going for the whole next day? No, I can't. For her, it wasn't worth it. The pursuit of happiness is so ingrained into human existence that we're always on the hunt for more. When we see others laughing and enjoying themselves, we naturally want what they have. If they have a beer in their hand, we want one too. If they're toasting champagne at midnight, we want one too. Whether it's a party, sporting event, or concert, did the alcohol actually cause the fun? See, we're challenging the belief. Or were you in a happy environment and the alcohol wasn't actually the key component? Happiness is at the very heart of advertising, especially alcohol advertising. But there's no balance in advertising. This is coming from advertising executive. She was the youngest, I want to say, president of a company ever, or maybe female president, at the age of 26, if I recall right. Alcohol actually causes far more unhappiness than happiness. It slows our minds and chemically depresses us. Ads never show the unhappiness that alcohol causes. And if they did, can you imagine? It'd be that sped up voice like in the pharmaceutical commercials. Side effects may include throwing up in the middle of the night, breaking up with your spouse, hitting people, saying things you regret, blah, 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 blah. In fact, she goes on to say that you don't see the drunken fights, the middle of the night anxiety and tears. You don't see the morning after neglect of children. You don't see emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. You don't see the drunk driver's face. You don't see the husband taking his own life. You don't see the arguments and fistfights, the violent crimes, the unwanted pregnancies. You don't see the sheer and unrelenting misery that alcohol can cause. Drinking doesn't just make the drinker unhappy, it makes the people around them unhappy. How many times does a spouse put up with their partner coming home drunk? How many jobs does a drinker have to go through before they lose their family? How long will a girlfriend put up with mediocre sex and frequent hangovers before she decides she can do better? The damage alcohol does in our society is so widespread. We all know somebody who's been hurt by it and hurt others. Alcohol's effect on children is heartbreaking. Do kids hear the people at the bar laughing at their mom's jokes? Or do they hear her sharp tone with them when she gets home and the alcohol wears off and her anger is flaring? Do they see groups of friends enjoying an evening concert, or do they only see the hangover in the morning? What about when it gets so bad that there's emotional or physical abuse? Never mind the fact that children of alcoholics are up to 4 times more likely to develop addiction later in life. This is from the National Institute of Health. And maybe you think she's being extreme. Maybe you've never gone to such extremes yourself. Maybe you think drinking after work is harmless and seems to make you happy. So here's the question. Does it actually make you happier overall? See, alcohol is interesting because it's a stimulant and a depressant. It temporarily stimulates you just after it enters your system while your blood alcohol content rises. A rising BAC affects the parts of the brain responsible for elation and excitement. But after only 20 to 30 minutes, your BAC starts to fall and the depressive effects take over. Remember, this is what we talked about in earlier episodes about the body maintaining homeostasis and releasing stress hormones, dynorphin. Since the rush doesn't last and you end up feeling worse than you did before the first drink because of a falling BAC, you need another hit to keep the BAC rising. But that initial tipsy feeling never comes back, no matter how much we drink. And in fact, once your BAC hits about 0.05 or 0.06, it becomes a downer, even if your BAC continues to rise. And the longer you keep drinking, the longer it's going to take for your BAC to level back out. So that means 10 or more hours of feeling uneasy, anxious, upset, and even depressed. How fun is that? So let's look at it logically. If a little alcohol makes you happy, shouldn't a lot of alcohol make you happier? But we all see friends and families giggling, joking, enjoying themselves while drinking. Have you ever stopped to consider that maybe they've been enjoying themselves as much, if not more, without the drinks? It's hard to separate the occasion from the drink, she says, because drinking is completely intertwined with every social event we attend. But now, sober, we can finally enjoy social occasions for what they are, a chance to hang out with friends and have a good time, celebrate people. So, continuing on with clarity, critical questions. When does the fun begin? Think back to the last good time you had drinking. Maybe it was last night. Maybe it was a few hours ago. Think about when exactly the fun began. For her, she says she usually drank after work, so her fun began the minute she'd walk out of the office. The workday was done. She could relax. She'd be feeling good just anticipating that first drink. And then she'd reach for the first glass, and for the next 15, 20 minutes, she'd feel pretty good. But the actual happiness started with the anticipation and the knowing that the workday was done. It's kind of like the Friday night effect. You know you got the whole weekend ahead of you, so you're feeling pretty good. You go to the pub, you order the first round, gets the weekend mood going. The cheering and excitement and fun happen well before that first drink. So ask yourself, when does the fun actually begin? Is it when you're drinking, or is it the anticipation beforehand? Could the fun actually be coming from the connection you have to the people and places you frequent when you drink? Ask yourself, how do you define fun? So it's about time for me to clock back in. So check this out. The world's leading happiness researcher, Barbara Fredrickson, says the 10 most positive emotions that combine to create what we call happiness are joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, pride, amusement, inspiration, awe, and love. So if you're interested in this, take some time to see how alcohol increases your joy. How does it take away your joy? And then move on to how it increases your gratitude and how it takes away your gratitude. You see what she's doing here? She's finding that balance based off of our original belief that alcohol makes us happy and thinking critically about it. I love it. It doesn't require 12 steps. It doesn't require saying, I'm an alcoholic. It just empowers people to know thyself and to question thyself. What's up, bud? You want to say hey for the camera?
Yeah, sure.
It's Jackson.
Howdy.
Hardest working guy I know.
You're recording for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's my Rehab Chronicles.